on, let me make sure
3,
everyone in this fucking house knows it
2,
so they don't come in barging in here.
1.
Hold on!
We're
Jesus fucking
going!
Christ!
We're going!
Oh my god.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Half-Life 2. Today I'm joined by my
I'm
co-host.
gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Can we play Half-Life for a change?
No.
I don't want to play any more Batman. I want a Half-Life.
You're not playing Batman.
Your
I
profile
am.
picture is
Yeah,
Batman.
but I'm watching you play Batman, so it's like the equivalent of me playing Batman.
No, it's not. Those
Yeah,
are
it
two
is.
very
Shut the fuck
different
up.
experiences.
No fucking isn't. Shut the fuck up.
What the hell is... Can someone send me the link?
Yeah, I don't have the link either. I'm starting to think that David didn't actually start it, and he was just fucking around. Let me check his channel. Yeah,
Send
no,
it
he
to
didn't.
me.
He didn't. He didn't start it.
Whoa, he didn't?
Oh,
wait,
no,
he
he
just
did.
sent me the
Wait.
link.
Just send me the
Are we-
link too. What the fuck?
Are we live or not?
Oh
Scared.
no!
We are live, you
You scallywag.
scallywag.
Oh, there it goes. Alright. Well,
Why is it so
ah,
pixelated?
jeez. Oh, jeez.
It's like,
It doesn't look pixelated on my end. The
10
frame rate's just a little choppy.
Yeah, I'm turning down
Yeah.
the bitrate, my friends.
oh, there we go.
I know how you feel. When I was doing this the other day with the Josh stream, we were having these same kinds of problems.
The juice. Hey, we got people in
on.
the chat. How's it going, guys?
Let me tweet the link. It's TX Taylor, Anthony LaMonica, RLSG Jonathan, Socially Up Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
Jackson Pickup. There's people
That's it.
here. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, friends.
Good icons. You're supposed to be off.
No, you're not.
Yes, I do remember you, TX Taylor. You were very generous the other day on that other stream. Thank you for showing up and being nice.
Welcome,
No, do you know,
TX
Josh?
Taylor. We are very welcome to. We are very glad to have you along. Welcome,
Hey,
Myron
Myron.
Stevenson.
You guys remember where we left off?
I do.
It's been a while since we watched or played this game.
Been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks. That's right. Wait, how are you guys playing? Wait, what's happening?
Something got screwed up, so I'm just gonna restart the game real quick.
Okay.
I'm more excited for the Sonic
Anthony
sequel than
LaMonica.
the HBO Last of Us show.
I was just about to say that. You know,
Fuck you.
I was just gonna say that I think an HBO Last of Us show had potential right up until the moment they said it would be about Joel and Ellie, because at that point it would feel like Disney live action remake levels of useless. Like, it just doesn't need to exist. It's just a big waste of money and time.
Yeah,
Because like The Last of Us is already like an 8-hour movie. It feels like a TV show. It's super cinematic and like it's treated like a movie by the people making it.
So if you
right?
were
Yeah.
to propose a replacement, what would you do with an 8-hour Last of Us movie
good
or
question.
TV show?
I would have it just be about different characters set in the universe. I would just not have it be the Joel and Ellie story, because we've already
you have
seen
it-
that, and doing that again would be redundant.
But at the same time, how do you really sell that to people who haven't watched the HBO show?
Just play up the fact that it's a fucking zombie thing. Go, hey, you like Walking Dead? Well, it's kind of like that, but they're mushroom zombies. Ideally, I would just not make a Last of Us TV show at all. I would just I feel like that's just a brand that doesn't need that, you know?
Yeah, I agree. There are some things that don't need to be you know, monetized over and over again.
You're right. I agree 100%. Perhaps we don't need the. I agree. We don't need any of those stupid adaptations like the Godfather movie. The book was fine enough. We shouldn't adapt it into anything else.
Hey, okay, I didn't say not everything should not be adapted. I just said some things shouldn't be adapted. Because
Well, I
why
mean,
would you do that?
it's like adapting a TV show to a TV show. It's just like it. I don't know what they could do with,
Okay,
like,
so
you know, the new
So
format that would actually make it worthwhile.
right now. I'm flying to intercept Lex Luthor in the Whirly Bat.
In the world.
The
Oh,
Whirly
Jesus,
Bat, yeah, go get him. It's Lex Luthor,
So
Jesse
fucking
Eiselberg.
Jesse Eiselberg
Do you think-
and Lex Luthor.
Could you guys see Aaron Paul playing Lex Luthor in any
no.
of the movies? No?
Who?
Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
Lex Luthor? Why? No.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
I see
get
him as
shaded
more of a
down.
Jimmy Olsen.
Lex Luthor needs to be, like, in his 40s. I don't know why they keep casting people who are still young. I'm getting kind of sick of it. Like, okay. Just look at what they did with him in the DC animated movie, or the DC animated cartoon universe. Just do that. Just make that.
What did they do to him?
But, like, he was just, like, super compelling and interesting and, like, suave, and, like, his voice acting was fucking perfect. Because, like, Clancy Brown just, like, who's, like, nailing it as that character. Just, like, everything about Lex Luthor and Superman, the animated series, all the way through Justice League is awesome. I want to see that Lex Luthor in a movie, but so far they keep trying to do these weird alternate takes
Because Zack Snyder.
a charismatic asshole billionaire for some reason can't be like an interesting villain unless we also make him like a quirky 20-year-old. Yeah, fuck off.
We gotta do that Silicon Valley cult thing. We gotta be hip and relevant with the youths.
Ugh, I hate it.
We gotta have our own spin to it. I'm not a fan of that.
I think it would be really interesting to come up with like a new. So here's a proposal. How about they come up with new supervillain who are based more on like the Silicon Valley tech billionaire thing instead of trying to make the old ones that sort of character.
I've never seen
I mean, if it was a new villain entirely, I wouldn't mind.
That's what I'm
then
saying.
You can just do whatever you want with it. But like, you know, when you keep trying to reiterate older characters into something that they were not like designed to be, it's just a lot of times it can be clunky.
Look,
Sometimes
I'm
it
just
can work.
destroying this poor man's. I'm just destroying this poor man's ship. This is why Superman is a communist, because he doesn't believe in other people having private property.
This took a 180.
Listen, you guys are having a serious discussion about things. I'm just here for the
And then he
memes.
just like communism.
I'm here for the memes, man.
Look, man. To be fair, if we did this live stream like 2 days ago, I would have been all for the memes as well.
Why
But, like,
aren't you all for the memes then?
I don't
Remember
know.
the, like,
I don't
The
feel like a guilty
40s where
person.
Superman was a really socialist street level superhero and would just walk around like fucking up corrupt cops and like wardens in the prison and stuff. Like, he could fly, but he didn't want to. He'd just walk around and just harass like.
And then Zack
shitty
Snyder
rich people.
ruined everything by making him an Ayn Rand superhero. Fun fact: did you know that Zack Snyder wants to make a movie version of The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand?
I don't know what that is.
Fountainhead. I've only read what's that one where like everyone refers to himself as we and there's like no individuality. I can't remember the title of it.
Venom?
It was ages ago.
We Are Venom.
Yeah.
Venom is secretly a critique
Anthem.
of communism.
I read Anthem. That's the only Ayn Rand book I read was Anthem, and like that one's fine compared to the rest because it just
It's
not
not as up its
necessarily
own
it.
ass about the
it's not as fuck everyone else. It's more like it just values individuality and fighting against conformism and like a corrupt government, and then
I like how you say conformism, even though the word is conformity.
Whatever, fuck you. TX Taylor says, I feel bad for liking the 2003 Batman show more than the BTAS. Honestly, it's like totally valid because both of them are really good. They're just very different takes on Batman and like all those characters. I think you don't need to... I mean, I think it's totally okay to have a preference of one over the other. Because, like, the 2003 show was, like, really fucking good.
Yeah. It's never an either-or situation.
You know what else is good? And about individuality?
Half-Life.
When did that cartoon? Was it 2003 or when did that... Oh, that was 2004.
2005.
I just wanted to say, a thing that I've been watching a lot lately is The Prisoner. Have you heard of that?
No, what's that about?
It's a 1960s show where it's all about this prisoner, this like secret agent guy who decides to retire. But then they're like, you can't do that. Retire it. But then he's like about to leave and go on vacation. But then he's like drugged in his apartment, and then he wakes up in this place called the Village, and nobody will tell him where it is or who's running it, and all they want to know is why he retired. But he refuses to tell them. So it's all about like conformity, individualism versus society, and the way and it's sort of a commentary also on the spy genre, because it was the guy who starred on it and kind of co-created it was also in a spy show before that called Danger Man. It was very sort of stereotypical, but then this is almost his criticism of that. So it's good stuff.
So he's like satirizing the show that made him famous.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also all about like sort of counterculture and surrealism and like individuality versus conformity.
Huh. That's neat.
It's a good show. You should watch it. It's not exactly on brand for a stream where we talk about comic book stuff, but it's good, and I like it.
I've been watching a show called Defending Jacob.
So, Hollow Man says, how bad is Justice League Apocalypse?
I haven't
is that the
seen
new
it
one?
yet.
Is that the new one?
Yeah,
I think it's the new one.
It's the one where they kill everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you that I haven't... I'll just say this. I haven't watched any of the DC animated stuff since The Killing Joke, because that was pretty unforgivably bad.
Yeah, it sucks, but like that, I totally agree that one just kind of killed the series for me. Like, well, it's not even really necessarily a part of the continuity with the rest of them. It's just like
it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, because a lot of the other ones that were in their main continuity were like kind of bland. I really hated what they did with Court of Owls, because one of my favorite Batman stories ever is the Court of Owls storyline, and they decided, hey, let's adapt that, but let's put Damian Wayne as the main character instead and make it all about him. So this story that's about like challenging Batman and sorry.
Just yeah, to say, the worst critic gave $2 and said, about to watch a movie, just wanted to say hi. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you being with us, even if it was just for a couple of minutes.
By the way, worst critic man, I saw your video about the Snyder Cut, and I thought it was neat. Good work.
I think I saw that trending. Oh, not trending, like recommended by YouTube. I don't know if it was by him, but it was. I definitely saw a Snyder Cut video on YouTube. Speaking of, what do you guys think of the whole thing?
Well, I had a... I just... There's a video by H Bomber Guy and another YouTuber called Shannon Strucky about director's cut, which sort of informed the way I think about it a lot, which is I'm all for concepts that they talk about, like, you know, directors getting their vision and all that stuff, but I think that we've kind of reached a point where it's a little bit too much, where there's sort of like a... It's not, like, there's a line in this video where he talks about the hysterical tinkering, about it's not enough to, like, there being a bad movie, it's not enough for it to be a bad movie and you just not like it. Now it's an excuse to care about the movie even more, and I think, yeah, there was a bad movie, but, like, so what? There's just... Can't we just move on? And I just don't like the attitude of some of the Snyder Cut folks, which is to keep obsessing over a movie, even after it's released, after we didn't like it that much. It's like, we're just, like, just accept that it's bad and move on. Let's just talk about other stuff. Other movies.
I find it interesting how, you know, the fact that they greenlit it started this, like, whole trend of every director that didn't get, like, their final say in how a movie is gonna, like, was going to turn out.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, the
like
director
David
of Suicide
Ayer.
Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's getting his or he wants his Suicide Squad cut. I don't know if he's actually getting it.
Yeah,
but, like, it started this whole trend, and I can see it going down a very, very steep, slippery slope. I don't know if it's gonna end up well.
It's also, and you have to also ignore you also have to remember the corporate angle of it, which is, it's still basically just a marketing gimmick to get you to sign up for HBO's new streaming service.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The display factor that as well.
It's not just
that
artistic.
was like a direct response to how the fucking what was it? DC Universe streaming app just completely flopped.
What?
So they're like, how the DC streaming app just completely like flopped and was like just a hilariously misguided venture. So do you think maybe they are trying to use the Snyder Cut thing as like a way to, you know, make sure that the HBO thing doesn't, you know,
well, it wouldn't. It definitely wouldn't hurt.
I was gonna say, like, oh, sorry, what? Huh?
What'd you say?
David?
Here, I'm gonna turn up David's microphone on Discord because it's like sometimes he says stuff and I can't quite hear it.
Hey, can you guys on the stream hear me okay? Audience members, can you hear me okay?
Probably be a second before they can.
Yeah, it's like a 30-second delay.
Say anything about that. Well, anyway, my thoughts on the Snyder Cut thing is that the more I think about it, the more I think it's like kind of a direct result of like that crazy new, I guess, process in Hollywood that has started recently, like where big companies or big studios are like micromanaging the absolute ever-loving fuck out of movies, like in the editing process, in the post-production segment.
And it's also how
where
like
they're like,
there's another comment about how like movies aren't it's like how a lot of AAA video games, you know, like your Anthems of the world and stuff like that, those movies, they're released and like, but you release a movie, but it's still not done. And it's the same thing here, where even after a movie's done, you're not releasing it, so it's not a finished product anymore.
We can still milk money out of it.
No, it's not that they milk. It's like that they're releasing something that isn't finished. And I just think it's the ideal is to just view a product as a finished product once it's in theaters. And like, you can have reservations about it. You can say, oh, there's things that I wish we did differently. But at the same time, accept that it's not perfect.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I feel about, like, what is it, Age of Ultron. I feel like that movie could have turned out a lot better than it did. But
Absolutely.
I'm not dying for it to get, like, finished or anything, quote-unquote, finished. Like, what they put out was, like, still a movie.
And also there's a myth that I think is a big part of this as well, which is the whole director, sort of the original sin of the studio, which is studio interference is always bad, director's vision is always good. And, like, that's not necessarily always the case, because this would be heresy to the Snyder Cut fans, but maybe Zack Snyder's not a very good director. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole reason that a lot of it got changed is because Joss Whedon looked at it and then said that this quote always stuck out to me. He said, "This is unwatchable."
Yeah, like I was about to say, maybe
it's like, what the fuck was it like for him to say unwatchable?
I mean,
like, from the sound of it,
I mean,
it seems very clustered with like just a bunch of things. Like Darkseid was going to be in there, Steppenwolf is going to be in there, fucking Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Black.
I remember that
Superman.
quote
like,
from from the press when he just said like, let's not, why the fuck not, let's just include everything in the movie. That was when he was talking about that's when he was talking about about Batman versus Superman. He's like, sure, let's have everything with kitchen sink in there, even if it doesn't work for the movie.
Man, I was gonna say earlier, like, that sets a really bad precedent for the just the movie industry as a whole, because if the whole trend
Bernardo
of,
in the stream comments, Bernardo Guaricici, I'm bad at names. It's basically the games as a service model for movies, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like games as a service, movies as a service. I'm not a fan of that. I just want a movie that can be self-contained, and if it's bad,
that
whatever.
whole thing is especially. I think that's a good point. Is that it feels, because I just downloaded all the Mortal Kombat 11 DLC today, and I just couldn't help but feel like a little cheated that like the ending of that game is such a non-entity. It's just like you beat the final boss and it goes, okay, bye, and it just shuts off, right? Like, there is no ending, and then you find out, oh, they actually only gave you half the game. There's an expansion DLC that's supposed to be the real ending that continues a whole bunch of new stuff. And it's like, I had to wait like a year and almost like a year and a half just to know what like the actual intended story was, and I don't want that to become the process for movies now, you know? Because I can see that becoming a thing.
And they talk about how even at the very beginning with people like Ridley Scott and the director's cut of Blade Runner, those weren't director's cuts. Those were other people adding or removing footage from his movie. So like, it's often just a marketing term to get us to buy a movie again. You know, the ultimate cut, the director's cut, this cut, that cut. And besides, you have to also view the need for a director's cut as something of a failure of Zack Snyder as filmmaking in the first place. Because after making Batman vs. Superman, which was, you know, incomprehensible as released in theaters because there was so much footage that he shot on top of that, you have to think that maybe he should have learned his lesson and not shot a 4-hour movie because he knew that that's not what the executives wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's shooting like a 4-hour movie, and then it's just like, well, I'll just figure it out in editing, and it's like, no, you should. That's something I feel like it should be figured out in scripting. Is like,
and the point
get
there
your
is
pacing
that
under control.
And the point there is that when they're talking about getting the director's vision back, sometimes you only need that because a director isn't good at working within the limits, and sometimes like movies always have limits. I'm not a fan of the idea that directors need complete creative freedom, because you always need restraints to work within, because restraints, it's creative freedom complete never works. You always work within limits. Be a really negative slippery slope. And I don't.
That's why Star Wars was good, is because they told the director no, and then they made a bunch of movies where he had complete control and a bunch of yes men standing around him that never told him no. And those movies were so bad that everyone wants to forget about them.
Until the revisionist history begins. And then it's
until everyone starts coming along and going, no, actually, these were awesome because the new thing is bad. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think that's frustrating, is that every time something new comes out, you start like pretending something that was bad before is great by comparison. Like, I've seen people legitimately try to say Amazing Spider-Man 2 is good now just because they hated Far From Home so much. And it's like, no, don't do that.
And vice versa. If
don't
something
lie.
new comes out, don't say the old ones were worse. Just because something new
came out. Yeah, that's another thing, is that don't immediately jump to, well, the old thing is bad now because it's old. It's like, that's not true either.
Hello, Mr. Blandman. Mr. Blandman has arrived. Welcome. And then,
hello,
Bernardo. It says Guarichi because it's Italian. Oh, the Italians. We love them. The Italians have given us so many great things, like pasta and fascism.
Jesus, dude.
Jesus Christ, man. Okay, I want to go back to this Snyder Cut things for a second. I was gonna say, like, the whole idea of let's give directors a shot at releasing their cut. Like, while it is well intentioned, it sets a really bad precedent for movies, because just how much is going into the Snyder Cut right now? Like a couple of $1 million, right?
20 to 30 million.
Do that for every fucking movie that like the director wanted to make but didn't make for whatever reason. You'd be bankrupt in a matter of fucking no time. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but you see my point. It is well intentioned, but it's not realistic, I guess. I don't know.
It's not realistic to do that for everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's also based on a problematic ideology, which is the director shouldn't be viewed as the only artist on a movie. A lot of the time, he might be the most important one, but at the same time, he has all these collaborators, and he works within a system. And I'm just not a big fan of putting the director on a pedestal like that.
I mean, that's one of the first things they teach you in film schools, that the director's not, like, the main guy. I mean, his job is to kind of wrangle everyone, but he's not doing everything himself. That's a weird kind of, like, film bro, like, just really uninformed opinion that started to crop up, is that, like, oh, the director just knows everything and is a genius and is, like, the sole author of a movie. And it's like, well, no, he didn't write it a lot of the time. Or, you know, sometimes the actors just kind of come up with a thing that they do for their characters on their own.
Or like,
so they add a lot to it.
There's the classic example of that I think of is Alfred Hitchcock. Is that he often took a lot of credit for the scripts, even though he never wrote his own scripts, and his writers directly contradicted him on how much he said he was in charge of the scripts, and they're like, no, he wasn't as involved as he said he was. And it was just him just sort of taking credit for things that wasn't even his.
Like, directors are influenced by so
sounds like him.
It's not fair to say, like, oh, it was all the director. Like, the director may have had the main vision, but the final product isn't necessarily all accredited to them, or shouldn't be always accredited to them fully.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are influenced by so many people who work on the movie. It's not just them.
Especially with the movie on the size of Batman vs. Superman. Or, Justice League. That movie has a lot of people working on it.
Oh, for sure, dude. Just the VFX alone. The CGI and everything.
It employs...
I think just even watching all those Corridor Digital videos and seeing, like, how much the VFX guys just add to things when, the directors just didn't give them any input. They're just like, well, we came up with this idea because they just said, like, they just gave us like this light idea of what to go for, and then we had to just kind of fake our way through the rest of it. And it's like there's a lot of work and craft being put in that the director doesn't even know about, and it's just like he sees the VFX footage and is like, all right, that looks good enough.
You remember that bit in the article about Cats where the director Tom Hooper had no idea how visual effects work? So when they showed him like the wireframe model of what it would look like, he was like, "What the fuck is this? This looks like this doesn't look anything like I wanted it to." And then the VFX people were like, "Dude, it's just a model to show you what it will look like once we fully render it." And he just had no fucking clue how it worked.
Freaked out and was like, "No, no."
And he would personally send really abusive emails to VFX team members, even though he had no idea how they did their job. It's lunacy.
Okay, you know what? My stance on that is, if you're gonna be a director, or just like anyone who gets to have the final say on a project that you make,
I just wanted to say,
director, executive, whatever, you need to know at least just a little bit about how the different components of a movie work, like
maybe
effects, CGI,
or maybe
sound,
this
anything.
is what you could do. Maybe you could talk to the people and trust them to do their jobs, and maybe listen to them when they tell you how their job works.
Or you could do that, yeah, that works just as much.
Also, Anna's in the chat. Just wanted to give her a shout out and say, hey, how's it going?
Anna!
I mentioned that like a couple of seconds ago.
Welcome, Anna.
Anna. Hello.
You guys tell I'm tired. I'm really fucking tired.
Welcome to the Dab Army.
I woke up at Actually, I woke up at 8. I shouldn't be tired. It's like 12 now.
Evil Then 2 is a good goddamn game. I really hope that they end up making a sequel. What?
So tell me, what's Evil Within 2 and what is it about?
It's a survival horror game where you play as a guy who's been plugged into some kind of like really hyper-realistic simulation of reality. But what the problem is that, like, you know, when someone who is like mentally unwell, like people who are like psychopaths, end up plugged into this big simulation, they actually are able to mentally control parts of it and reformat it to like their vision. So there's this simulation has like something like several thousand people in it, but one of them was a serial killer who kind of snuck his way in. Ooh. And then because of that, he's able to like change everything about the simulation and make it a horror game. Oh, hang on one second.
Alright, well, he's gone.
He's gone. Let's all talk about how we all secretly hate him.
Let's talk about how he's a simp.
Absolutely.
Hey, Anna, how much of a simp is Xavier?
Alright, anyway.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to simp.
We weren't talking about you.
We weren't.
I use your word a lie. But yeah, the first game isn't very good. Like, it's alright, it's worth playing, I would say, but it's still got a lot of, like, issues. But, like, Evil Then 2 is way, way, way better.
How gory
that's good that it had a sequel that... Oh, a gory? It depends on if you die a lot, because the death scenes are pretty gory, I would say. Well, not, like, too terribly gory, but, like... Yeah, there's a couple of death scenes that might be a little raw, but if you just, like, play the game well and don't get your ass caught by bad guys and monsters, then you probably won't end up seeing a lot of too gory stuff.
Yeah, I suck at video games, so...
Oh.
So then I'm not from
So since we were calling Xavier a simp earlier, what would we call his son?
No, we won't.
We would be calling him the Simp Son.
That's terrible.
Ah, I get it, because Simpsons has simp in it. Haha, funny.
You need to laugh at me. Why aren't you laughing?
David, hey.
Why are you not laughing?
I'm disappointed.
Why?
Very
Why are you
upset.
not laughing?
This is not okay.
Why?
As I was saying, like,
broken the law.
What
I don't
law?
want to talk about this.
Show it to me in the penal code.
Defending Jacob is a really good show. You guys should watch it.
Are you talking about when you defended our friend Jacob?
Did I defend him? Defend
He
him
was
from
getting
what?
beat up by his mean girlfriend Molly, and we defended him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Me and Molly got into a fight. She broke the mic.
That was still the dumbest shit. I don't even know how that happened.
I don't know how it happened either. She just like she messages me. She's like, "Oi, cunt, you want to fucking fight?" Not exactly like that. But I get into like a voice chat with her, right?
That's how.
Different sizes.
I thought that was how
I want
Australians
to
talk to each
preface
other.
this with this is a fake fight. They're goofing around. They're
This
not
is
actually mad at each other.
I thought this was how Australians just talk to each other. They like hit each other up in.
She's British, so this is Australian versus British like rivalry.
Now that's even worse.
That's juicy conflict.
But yeah, we get into this call and she like, I don't know what she does to the mic, but like all I hear is like this sort of sound happening every fucking like every time she's quote unquote throwing a punch. And after we get off the call, she messaged me and she's like, I think I broke my mic.
What was she doing that broke her mic?
I have no idea. She doesn't know either.
You guys are fucking spazzes.
Look, man, I did warn her not to get in a fight today.
Are
Too
there a lot of like?
powerful.
Are there like a lot of moths
use
in your
creepy stare
area,
like that.
Xavier?
Moths?
Yeah.
No.
Cause like around my house, there have been a lot of moths lately. Like, and just as I was playing right now, a moth literally knocked into the side of my eye.
A moth.
Oh.
Now
Fucked up.
now he's on my
Yeah,
power
this
cord.
one's fucked up. Kill it.
I can't. I'm killing the Lex bots right now.
Pause the game and kill
Killing
it.
the sex bot.
Do you think?
The sex
Do you think that? Do you think that Lex Luthor has keeps a couple of special Lex bots as sex bots?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, Doctor Doom has so many fucking Doom bots. Some of them impersonate himself, and like we all know how much Doctor Doom loves himself. It would not surprise me if sometimes he uses those bots for, you know, stuff and things.
He uses robots to pick up his groceries, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Cook for him. And compliment him.
Do his
Fuck
hair.
I like how you avoided saying it for so long and then just fuck him.
This is like my rarest fucking laugh moment, okay? I gotta savor it. People don't laugh at my jokes very often.
Yes, they fucking do. We were laughing at your
No,
jokes
they
all
fucking
the,
don't.
like a bunch the other night.
Yeah, but that's because
You always say, "Oh, no one laughs at my jokes," but then we like always do.
Anthony LaMonica says that he wants to see Killer Moth in a Batman movie.
That'd be fucking stupid.
Well, okay, hold on. Is that Killer Moth before or after the powers? 'Cause that's an important distinction. Because he was like this, like laughing stock kind of like bullshit character that everyone kind of laughed at for a while. But then got so fed up with it that he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get superpowers, and then no one's gonna fuck with me ever again. So he joined some kind of crazy like monster cult or something, and then sold his soul to like a demon to become an actual moth. Now he's like a giant scary. Now imagine a xenomorph mixed with a moth that just infinitely produces eggs and kidnaps
So a Xenomorph, then.
Are we talking about
Xenomorph.
Killer Moth or Mothra?
Yeah. No, Killer Moth.
Mothra is a Godzilla monster, remember?
Yeah, I thought I heard Mothra for some reason. That's why it's fucking stupid.
Killer Mothra.
It's like, imagine Batman fighting something as big as that, and still winning somehow.
I'm willing
He
to bet
does
there will
all the
be
time.
people on Twitter who say he can.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, dude. Those people exist. I was one of those people once, but I was like 16. I was a fucking kid, okay?
We were just kids. We didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Kill 'em off would be cool. There's been a bunch of like references in the Arkham games. You've never seen him once. It'd be cool to see how they portray him.
I feel like the Arkham games like it really played favorites with villains, and that kind of like annoyed me because it kept referencing really cool ones, but then like whenever it got to an opportunity where it could have actually showed them, they would just never fucking show.
Oops, it's Joker again.
Oh.
It's the gamer.
Surprise! It's
the gamerizer.
But where is the streamer?
We're the streamer, all of us.
No, but Harley Quinn is the streamer in our made-up universe.
I know. I was calling all of us Harley Quinn.
Oh.
Oh.
Speaking of, have you guys been watching the Harley Quinn show or like keeping up with it at all?
No.
I've like missed out on a lot of season 2 because I'm just kind of waiting for it to be done and I'll just binge watch it. But for the most part, I'm watching it.
Man, the new a new episode came out today, and I'm really excited to see it. A new episode came out for Defending Jacob as well, and I'm really excited to see that.
I've been watching this show called Devs. I just finished it yesterday.
That's from the director of Annihilation, I think.
And Ex Machina.
Yeah. Except we don't talk about that one because it's not as good.
Yeah.
What's that show about?
It's hard to talk about without spoiling it.
No, never mind then.
But it's like a Silicon Valley thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bunch of Silicon Valley people invent something kind of crazy that like destroys society by existing, and they have to keep it secret. And then the main character finds out about it essentially, and that becomes a problem. And then this character is like on the run for a long time, you know, trying not to get killed for their evil secret thingamajig.
Interesting.
Harley Quinn is the e-girl.
What?
Comment on the stream.
Harley Quinn is the ego.
What did they say? Harley Quinn is a what?
The e-girl.
Is the ego.
Oh no. That's a crime. I'm making that illegal. You're not allowed to say that ever again.
But yeah.
You know who else is an e-girl? Xavier.
No. Don't spread lies.
I'm spitting truth, bro.
Is it really lies if it's true?
Yes.
It's the James Cameron movie, True Lies.
Which is real cinema. Remember that scene where they fight in the car?
Remember that scene where Jamie Lee Curtis strip teases for Arnold Schwarzenegger, thinking because it's his wife who she's his wife, and then and he thinks she's cheating on him, so he's doing this whole thing he's using like CIA resources to interrogate his wife because he thinks she's cheating on him.
What are you talking about?
I need to watch that movie again. I don't remember any of that. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from like the 90s called True Lies. It
sounds like a
weird and silly.
It makes a lot more sense when you realize that James Cameron was going through a messy divorce when he made the movie.
Ooh,
it's one of those movies, you know, like it's one of those movies like whatchamacallits.
One More Day.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Steven Spielberg's, you know, the second Indiana Jones movie. That movie makes a lot more sense, especially the treatment of its female lead when you realize that he was going through a divorce when he made the movie.
Oh, jeez.
That's why the female lead in that movie
is directors just like taking out their divorce on the characters.
On the female leads, yeah.
Oof.
It's a thing that seems to be happening a lot in like just a bunch of media. You had One More Day, which was because Joe Quesada got really fucking pissed off and shit because he was going through a divorce. He was like, you know what I'll do? I'll take my anger out on the fucking comic fans. Let's fucking get MJ and Peter divorced. That'd be a good idea, right?
It was weird though, cause like a divorce, they wouldn't let it be like an actual legitimate divorce. It was like they
retconned it out of existence.
We gotta just to make it so that they were never together to begin with via magic, and that just seems really absurd.
Really fucking worse. Their explanation in like their explanation in the new timeline is so stupid. Apparently, Peter couldn't make it to their wedding because he was pinned down by like a guy. And I'm just like, he can lift fucking buildings. He can lift a tank. He can lift a fucking bus. Why is one guy enough to stop him for a prolonged period of time?
I don't even.
It was happening.
I've like completely just like erased the whole explanation arc from my mind because it just was like so disappointing and like not it wasn't like a satisfying answer for any of the retcon stuff. What was it? It was not Brand New Day. That was the story where they explained it had like a different name. God, this is gonna drive me insane.
Brand Next Day, more like.
Yeah, that, sure.
Brand New Day. I remember reading that, thinking it was the dumbest shit ever.
Brand New Day is okay-ish.
I don't know.
Some parts of it.
Okay, some parts of it. But like the one that was written by Dan Slott, I didn't like it. Because like in one of the scenes, Peter Parker gets his web shooters like stolen off of him, and he didn't have enough time to react for some reason. Even though he fights like big fucking like buff guys in robotic suits and shit. It's just an ordinary his web shooters. People's like, oh look, he grabbed my weapons and didn't do anything about it. And then it became this like an entire fucking arc where like apparently Spider-Man is trained for finding spider traces on a bunch of dead bodies. It was
well, I thought the explanation of that was cool. Because it turns out it was a corrupt cop, spider tracers like that they found on criminals over the years, and like wanted, you know, he just like wanted Spider-Man out of town and like wanted all superheroes kind of like out of their whatever, like just kind of he had some kind of anti-superhero bias. He like planted all those spider tracers on dead bodies to like frame Spider-Man and then like make him a public enemy. I thought it was cool.
Woo-woo.
It was a ish story.
Hold on, but didn't it like do anything? Didn't it have anything to do with like the web shooters being stolen?
No,
like,
that was a completely different thing.
Huh? Did you just like forget about it?
Maybe. I mean, it did come out like what, almost 14 years ago.
Well, I mean, the two comic books came out relatively close to each other.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, it's been so long that I wouldn't blame you for like not quite remembering all the specifics.
That's fair. I don't know. I just found that moment really stupid. Then there was that one moment where like Peter just fucking like, what is it? He just yells at Jameson for like not paying him, and that was so
yeah, and then he has a heart attack.
And Peter's like, "Fuck you!" He just walks out of the.
And then he has to like, do CPR on J. Jonah Jameson, and it's really embarrassing.
God, man.
J. Joan. What if
What
if in the next one J. Jonah Jameson is a woman?
I mean, he's J.K. Simmons.
I know, but like, just put J.K. Simmons in a wig.
Cool hair.
That's what they did for the Raimi trilogy, and then they didn't do it for this one, and now he looks kind of weird.
Yeah, he's a really weird podcaster, and I can't help but think that
he's just Alex Jones.
PS4. It's literally Spider-Man PS4 J. Jonah Jameson. He just looks really fucking weird.
Uh-oh, the game's...
I don't mind it so much as having, like...
Uh-oh, the game's frozen. Not good.
Oh, God.
Alright,
uh-oh. Spaghetti-O.
Uh-oh, yeah, SpaghettiOs. We might have to restart the level, ladies and gents.
Wow, fuck.
No. I'm gonna quit out and I'm gonna...
Spider-Man says, David, thank you for the stream. I was having a bad day and you guys have cheered me up. Yeah, you know,
Aww.
Glad to hear.
We're glad to have you along with us. Thank you for joining.
That makes it all work.
Glad we're entertaining enough to be entertaining.
I'm not.
Come on. He doesn't want to shoot me out to task manager either. I might have to resort to a more radical solution. We might have to stop the stream and start up once I get things working. So.
Oh God, that's a lot.
We will be back in a new stream in just a little bit, because technical difficulties. Be right back, guys.
Oh boy.
I think the stream is still going. We are not interrupting. We'll see if this works, but we might have to start over that level again. Give me 1 minute to start up Discord so that everybody will be back up. Yeah, you're right, the Golden Cat Man. It is a tradition for us to... Hello?
Hello?
Hey, I'm back. The stream is... We did not stop the stream. It's just that...
Oh.
I hit restart, and then it said these programs are preventing you, and then it just hit cancel, and then it quit me out to the stream. So here we are.
Oh, nice.
We are back. Without having to...
A-okay?
Everything's A-okay, except the game crashed out, so I'm gonna have to start that level all over again.
Yeah, that's all good. Golden Cat Man sums this up perfectly. For some reason, it's like a tradition for their streams to crash.
Yeah, it's because my internet's real shitty. If we streamed at Xavier's house, none of this would be happening.
I don't know, depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the day.
At this point,
sometimes we have issues.
So, yeah. Put it up on Twitter that we are back online, so just to remind everybody to hop back in, you guys.
Well, did the stream start over? Because
it didn't start over. It's continuing as it was.
So it's the same as it was before. Did people leave?
Yeah, so we lost about 6 viewers. So just we lost about half our viewers. So just remind everybody to jump back in.
Okay.
I'll leave it up.
Thank you very much, guys. I'll just take a sip of my Earl Grey tea here.
Oh, Xavier, there's a comment for you. Is the new stream on your channel part of the Spidey cartoon retrospective?
No, but it's kind of like... Think of it like an expansion for that. Because, like, I do still want to do, like, a proper, like, video on that, but, like, you know, I figure may as well, like, join, Amazing Spider Talk, because they invited me and, like, we're both watching the same cartoon and we're going to talk about it, might as well. Okay, let me just retweet that. Yeah, I mean, I've been on their show before, Golden Cat Man. I was on one of their episodes where they reviewed, like, issue 2 of the Carnage arc that just came out, Absolute Carnage. I was on there it was just me and Dan for that episode, but yeah, it was fun and a little nerve-wracking because, like, I didn't want to screw up and seem like an idiot.
Don't be all.
Yeah.
Don't be that person. Don't be that guy.
I just don't know if that episode ended up, like, I think it got made public like way later than some people are aware, because like it was like a patron exclusive for a really long while.
So, are you excited for The Last of Us Part 2?
No.
I want to be, but it's hard a little bit.
I'm not excited for it for like one reason, and it's because
you're excited
I know
for...
I know you shouldn't be basing your excitement.
Don't spoil it if possible.
Are you excited for the PS4?
But there have been
the PS5
leaks
or whatever
that more or less have okay. So there's this thing on like either Reddit or 4chan, like one of those websites, where they basically I don't know description, but like it basically outlines the plot points of the game. And for the longest time, people were like, "Oh yeah, no, it's some guy who around," because it's happened for like everything that was about to come out ever. Like Spider-Man PS4 had that, Arkham Knight had that, fucking every game, right? Yeah. So people weren't taking it very seriously, myself included. As a matter of fact, I didn't know it was a thing. But anyway, recently there was this whole thing of like, apparently there was like a game dev at Naughty Dog who was like really disgruntled and decided to leak footage of the game, and a lot of those stuff on, you know, those quote unquote were pretty much more or less confirmed, like from the footage that we got, or like the screenshots of the leaks that we got.
And kind of killed your hype a little bit, because like those things that were leaked did not sound great.
Didn't sound great at all.
And I read synopsis too, and I'm like hoping that I'm hoping it's like the case with the Deadpool 2 leak plot synopsis, is that like I've read it tells things in like incorrect order, and this also just like ignores context, and then some parts of it are flat out wrong because it's like an early build that they saw,
or an early draft of the screenplay.
That there's still surprises for us, and that it's not all like exactly how the person described it, because that would be a little unfortunate.
For sure. I don't know. I'm not as excited for it right now. Hopefully I'm wrong. I really like the first one.
Yeah.
The story and everything.
So, yeah. So, here's a random question. Last of Us versus Death Stranding.
Never played Death Stranding. So
I haven't beaten Death Stranding. It's like 1 billion hours long.
Isn't it just a walking simulator?
So probably last, if that's what we're comparing.
Isn't Death Stranding like a multi-million-dollar fucking walking simulator?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, so is The Last of Us.
It's kind of cool though, because it's like there's not really a game like that, you know? Like it's a really expensive indie game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a lot of walking simulators are indie, so it's funny to think that
it does not feel like a AAA super expensive game at all. The gameplay feels very indie, very like, just let's come up with something different and weird, and then they also just got a bunch of famous Hollywood actors, and the graphics are like immaculate, photorealistic.
And
like,
they got Guillermo del Toro.
Cool. I appreciate how different it is. And like, I know some people would go into it expecting more of like a Last of Us-y kind of action-y thing, where it's like really easily accessible. But I kind of like that the game is sort of weird and niche, and like not necessarily something that like anybody could just pick up. It's kind of a game that you gotta like be the right audience for. And the fact that it's so expensive and so ambitious, so like just a weird game that's only for specific people on top of that, I check the hell out of that.
I feel like that should be more of a standard. Make games for specific people. Because here's the thing: if you're gonna try to make a game for everyone, we're essentially making a game for no. Because you have to take into account so many different people, so many different tastes, and so many different like, you know, demographics or whatnot. Like trying to make a game for everyone and trying to suit everyone's needs in one. It's not physically possible nor realistic. So you just end up making a product that isn't.
You know, I remember. I was just thinking about it. You know, I was thinking about this. It was pretty funny. Back when Death Stranding first came out, I was talking with Josh about it. You know, he sometimes shows up on the streams, and he's like, I don't know if you would get it. I'm not sure what you would like. You know, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, I played it at Xavier's house, like, 3 months later, and I'm like, I get it.
You know, that's one of the things, is, like, I like that it's not... What's the words I'm looking for here?
It doesn't. It's
I mean,
nothing.
It's not weird hipster garbage, but like it's kind of weird hipster garbage.
Like, it's niche, but it's not niche enough where like people are just alienated by it.
Yeah. Because there are still some people who like don't like walking simulators who could still pick it up and be like, "Wow, this is kind of interesting."
And it's funny how I tried playing The Last of Us and I wasn't quite as into it. I'm not a big fan of
The Last of Us is super mainstream, like.
I'm not a big fan of, like...
It's the type of game that's, like, trying super hard to be a movie.
I'm not... That's what I was gonna say about The Last of Us is... You said it's really cinematic, but... I'm not sure how I feel about games that try really hard to be cinematic, and, like... Maybe we should not... We should reward games that don't try to be cinematic. Because if I want to see something really cinematic, I'll watch a movie.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like you can... It's not a, either-or situation. I feel like it just depends on how it's done. Like, there are so many cinematic games that I love, and there are so many cinematic games that I hate. I guess the thing that makes them different from one another is just how much content, gameplay-wise, is put in there. Like, if 90% of your game is just, oh yeah, let's watch this cutscene unfold, and like, let's try to be invested in this. Yeah, you may as well make it into a movie. But if it's got a good mix of both cinematic cutscenes, dialogue, whatnot, or like just a cinematic-esque story.
Maybe we should just do what they did in the 90s and have live-action cutscenes with Tim Curry.
Death Stranding is gonna be like a weird one for you, if you ever get around to playing it, William, because it's like some parts of it are like... I would say it has a good balance, but the balance is really fucking weird, where it's like, okay, let's have a 20-minute cutscene followed by 6 uninterrupted hours of gameplay, then a 30-minute cutscene.
Capitalism!
It's weird.
Space!
Sounds really weird.
I just wanted to say 2 minutes ago, Adrian is okay said, "Hello, governor," and I just wanted to say, hey, how's it going? Welcome to our stream. We're talking a lot about random stuff, but I just wanted to shout out our very, very generous viewers.
Yeah, thanks for joining in, guys. We really appreciate that.
We love you.
But yeah, just to finish my thought on the cinematic thing, like, it's all about balance. If you have enough gameplay to go with the cutscenes, you should be fine, right? Because you're being involved and immersed in the story, but at the same time, you're very clearly playing a game.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to have like the whole thing be a cutscene, and have like just very little gameplay segments in comparison, like, don't make it a game.
I was just thinking about that because I'm really not into the whole mainstream sort of action-y game, I'm not into Naughty Dog sort of style games, but I think that Death Stranding was weird enough that I could get into it. I'm really into those sort of...
Death Stranding is not that type of game at all. Oh,
absolutely not.
Like, it's very different, and that's what I think is refreshing and interesting about it. I haven't beaten it yet. It's a really long game, and I was like a lot of hours into it, and then my PlayStation killed itself.
Maybe we should
twice in a row.
Maybe we should start a stream of it on your channel sometime.
That could be interesting. Maybe.
You were talking about how you wanted to have more streams on your channel. Maybe we could you could start that, and I could be your co-pilot for that one.
My worry, though, is that I feel like people would, like, hate watching that. Because it's long, and there's, like, so many uninterrupted hours of, like, just kind of nothing going on. And I feel like people could get kind of irritated by that. Like, stream audiences are very specific in their tastes. They want you to be really good at the game. They want you to be getting through the game very quickly, but they also want you to be paying attention to the chat at all times. And
here I am.
I feel like sometimes they don't necessarily know that doing all of those at once is impossible.
And here I am doing none of those things.
The last stream on the other day was really stressful because like I was trying to focus on like being good at the games I was playing because I knew they were all like childhood favorites of everyone, and there was going to be a lot of scrutiny if I didn't get it right. So I was really trying to focus on actually just like playing the games and making progress through them, and like not being horrible to watch, because I get it. It's irritating when you're watching someone be like shitty at a video game for a long period of time when you could just take the controller from them and do it really awesome. I know, I get it. So I was trying not to be bad at the game, but the sacrifice that had to be made for that was that I wasn't able to pay as much attention to the chat or talk as much.
You know what? I'll say.
And it's like
I'll say that I kind of.
It's hard to balance.
You know what? I'll say I kind of disagree with those people. I think sometimes it's fun to watch a stream where the people have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like, for example, Foldable Human recently did a stream where he played Terraria for the first time ever on screen. He'd never played it before. And I really enjoyed that.
Was he good at it?
Well, he learned. He just sort of... There was like an hour at the beginning of the stream where he was just like dying constantly and just completely failing at the game. But it was kind of really interesting to watch the sort of like learning curve and figuring out how to do things live on the stream. That was fun.
You see, I feel like there are some people who are like too impatient and just like can't do that. They can't let you learn it. They want you to turn it on and be good.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope this becomes a thing that people remember me by, but it's all about balance, okay? you can't have it both ways, man. If someone's like new to the game, it's okay for them to be like learning things, but at the same time, don't take too long. Like, be good, but not good to the point where it looks like, fuck, actually, I don't know where I was going with that. I just lost my train of thought midway there.
Awesome, you nailed it. I'm proud.
Well,
of you.
I just say Xavier. I just say we can try it once we can try it once with your Death Stranding, and if people don't like it, we just don't do it again.
I was gonna say that, yeah. Just do one live stream, see how people react, and
if it's not a hit, then it's just a one-off, and you do something. You go back to your normal thing next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want, and if it goes too badly, you can always blame me for it.
Yeah. Oh, guys, don't worry. It's just David. It was his terrible idea.
Everybody fucking cancel David. Hashtag cautiously realistic is overpowered.
David, also, I feel like...
Yeah?
You tweeted that thing the other day about the Snyder Cut where you said the words, it sets a bad precedent.
Yeah?
And I feel like it got a lot of attention, and I noticed because I was tagged in it.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people keep saying the word sets a bad precedent, and I feel like they're quoting you. Like, I think that, at least within, like, kind of our circle of people, like, the community that surrounds us,
Nice.
I think you may have said that, and it caught on. Because, like, everyone keeps saying the same specific set of words. Sets a bad precedent.
Nice.
And that tweet that you did got, like, big numbers and a lot of attention about it.
I mean, big numbers for
you know
me.
what's funny? I said the exact
big numbers
same thing,
for you,
like, a couple minutes ago when we were talking about the Snyder Cut.
I feel
Sets
like,
a bad precedent.
you know, I'm starting to believe that that's my identity, is my quote-unquote brand is to become the person that everybody sort of hate quotes.
I don't know.
I mean, that's what happened with
brand.
Spider-Man back in the day, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's, like, okay. I was gonna say something, but, like, probably gonna get a lot of flack if people take notice of that. But okay, fuck it, I'll say it. A lot of these people back then, like, you know, there were kids who were hyped up for a game, and they see you talking like mad smack about Insomniac, and like they took it as a personal offense. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's everyone. People aren't always like that. It's
Oh,
only
absolutely
like the small
not.
minority.
I'm just being
Cautiously
sarcastic.
realistic.
I'm being cautiously sarcastic here. You said the thing. You know, I have very mixed feelings about my channel name, and I think I might change it at some point.
Oh, really?
Why?
I
don't
thought
know.
it was good.
I've always thought of it
the one who came up with it.
as a little bit wordy.
Man,
Cautiously realistic.
Godzilla Mendoza.
Well, that's why they just call you CR.
Yeah.
I guess that works. Or they just call me David. A lot of people just call me
David. Or David CR. I don't know. People call me Xavier GM or just GM. You know, they don't always gotta say the whole thing.
Like cautiously realistic could be like your I don't know, your brand name, and people could just refer to you as David. Like Markiplier, for example, people just refer to him as Mark. Or PewDiePie. Actually, no, they call him PewDiePie.
Yeah, that's a bad example.
Well, they call him Felix, but they also call him PewDiePie.
They call him racist.
Call me by your brand name. A YouTube video, a YouTube love story. Call me by your channel name.
Oh my god! Stop.
I don't like the things you're saying. Please stop.
By the way, Golden Catman, I don't think I didn't notice what you said. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you for agreeing with me. If you don't agree with me, fuck you.
What did he say?
Oh no, remember when we were talking about the cinematics in video games, like how games could be a bit too cinematic?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying he agreed with me. Yeah.
Okay.
I only just now took notice of it.
You agree with?
Or I took notice of it before, but I just,
well, listen. If you agree with Scrubs, you're probably right some of the time.
Some of the time. Hey, fuck you, dude.
If you agree with me, you're right none of the time.
If you agree with him, you're cynical as fuck.
That's my brand, is being incorrect.
What's my brand then?
Being
a
cynical.
bitch.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm just kidding. I love you, buddy.
Oh.
You know, like, serious talk, like, your content, I like it because it's different enough to, like, what's out there. Actually, the both of you. Because I remember the first time I was, I saw any of Xavier's
I feel like
videos.
mine's kind of, like, there's a lot of stuff like mine. I don't think mine's very special.
Okay, well, like, hear me out. Your Spider-Man retrospective was, like, my first introduction to you. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
I remember in one of the videos you were talking about Spider-Man 2, and I was really surprised to hear that you weren't praising it all the time. Because everyone was like, oh yeah, the gameplay was really fucking amazing. Just the web swing, oh shit. But then you were like, no, it's not that good. I mean, it was fine for the time, but it's yeah. I don't vibe with it.
Which
I'm like,
I caught a lot of flack for that. That was not a popular opinion to have.
That's because, like, I don't know, I guess it's standard. I guess it still is a standard, but like, people expect you to be like to have the same opinion as them, and if you don't, they'll fucking riot. Like, it's a really toxic thing. And I guess that's why you got a lot of flack for it. But just knowing that you were different enough to, like, give your honest opinion, regardless of how controversial it was. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, it's a great game.
I like
There's
that.
a lot to love about it, but I don't think it's, like, you know, perfection. I think that it has a lot of rough edges, and that they weren't quite there yet with some things.
And likewise with David, like, a lot of his opinions are very, I never thought you'd say that. Or, like, this isn't what people are saying. Like
that's
X-Men,
not what the famous opinion is.
Right. Like,
oh man, wait until I talk up.
Dark Phoenix.
Wait until I.
Right. I mean.
He talks about his butt.
Wait until my next video comes out. That'll be a fun one for you to discuss.
Oh,
but yeah, like, your opinion on X-Men, Dark Phoenix, like, it was so, like, left field to me. And I sort of respect that, because it's not just, oh yeah, bad movie, bad. It was bad, but I liked it. And then you gave, like, actual reasoning for why you liked it, and it was like, you know, you had a point. And it wasn't just, like, blindly following what everyone was saying about it. Well,
hey,
I mean, it kind of is nowadays.
Interrupt. Iron Ninja gave $5 and said, "Thought I'd drop in and say hi before I head to bed." Hey, Iron Ninja, welcome for.
Hey,
thanks for coming.
Hey,
thanks for dropping in, Zach with a P.
That's not even. That's like really far off.
I know. At this point, I've stopped even pretending to spell his name right.
Oh boy.
Zach listens to Slipknot. Ninja.
No, dude, get it right. Learn the lore. It's 9 Inch Nails.
Slipknot.
No.
9 Inch Slipknot Nails.
They're different things. Don't lie.
9 inches.
That's why it's, yes, thank you.
My nails aren't the only thing that's 9 inches long, baby. Also my nose.
Nice.
Oh no. Oh man, you should get that checked out.
I just realized for like the past couple of minutes I've just been like complimenting you guys, but I just realized none of what I said made sense. It was just like all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that's what streams are for.
You overthink things so much.
I overthink things so much, and it's second nature right now. I gotta stop. Gotta get outside. Gotta get some fresh air.
Smack you.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap you right in the face. I'm gonna hook you right in the gabber. I swear on me, mum.
That's not. That's not nice. Why would you say that?
That's not nice.
You're supposed to like go Australian on me and be like, "I'd like to see you try it, you blimey cunt," or whatever you do.
That's too Scottish.
Troy, you fucking cunt. Yeah, you fucking don't come at me, cunt. I'll fucking knock you out, cunt.
Yeah, there you go. It's that one.
Meet me at fucking Bondi Beach, cunt. I'll wreck ya. And we could have a ciggy after 8. Get up a couple of bars and shit.
He's doing it!
Shit,
he's doing the thing!
Yeah, you fucking dog.
Oh, yes! This is the only reason why we keep him around. That and the animation.
He's Australian.
The animation. Yeah, otherwise I'm just like, resisting them. They don't talk to me. They're just like, hey, we're streaming in a couple of seconds. You better be on there or we'll kill your family. And I'm just like, okay.
This is literally what we did before we started tonight. I just messaged him and say, hey, we're going to be streaming in a couple of minutes. Come on or we'll kill your family.
Yeah. And
I actually told him that. Verbatim. He's quoting me.
He did. I have the receipts.
Hashtag cautiously realistic is over party.
Again? That's the 3rd time today.
Wait, what's the 3rd time today?
That he's been canceled.
It's the 2nd time. Oh no. I'm talking about Australia in the chat.
Oh no.
Dude, we've been through this. Australia doesn't exist. It's probably from New Zealand. Australia is a lie made by the government of China too. Is there a New South Wales? Sorry, if there's a New South Wales, is there an Old South Wales? Australia is a myth, just like Ohio. Jesus Christ, you guys, tone it down, eh?
No. Ohio is not a myth. Wyoming is a myth. Get your facts straight.
I don't know. I've never seen Wyoming in person, so I'm just very skeptical.
I've never seen Australia in person except for the map, so therefore it's fake.
Actually, that's really funny, David. I just realized that's one of the only states I've ever actually been through in this entire country. Like I've only been like 3 or 4 other states, and we just like barely passed through Wyoming, so that's like just a flat out lie.
What was the occasion?
We were visiting a couple of my mom's friends because they were in a band and they had a concert in Nebraska.
Ooh,
and
nice.
We hung out with them, watched their concert, and then like stayed with them at their. No, actually, we didn't stay with them. We just like visited them and then stayed at like a hotel. It was when I was a lot younger. I think I was like 15 or something.
You know what else is a myth?
Many years ago.
You know what else is a myth? Wales. In the UK.
The country?
Yeah, the country of Wales. It's a myth.
Birds aren't real, okay? No, not Wales, birds, okay?
Also,
you
Scotland.
think they are real? You think
look!
they are real? But
Oh
they're
look!
really
It's
just
the Joker Jaeger. Look, it's
Shut
the
up!
Joker
I'm trying
Jaeger.
to tell a really shitty joke, okay? Please.
Jesus Christ! Why does Joker have a giant robot?
You diseased maniac.
What?
No one is going to elect you
Xavier,
president.
have you played Persona 5? If yes, then what did you think of it? Love your vids. By the way, also sorry for spamming this, by the way. I haven't seen it any time before that, but
Oh my god.
I saw him the
Socially
past 2
Spider-Man
times.
says, this is a dog joke, but
I
it's
was
barely- it's
I was
literally
ignored
right.
it. I was ignoring Bernardo Guariki because he ignored my because he offended me with his jokes.
I'm not.
oh.
Yeah, he's kidding. He's cool.
Gamer robot, society robot.
It's
Yeah, I
the
have
society
played Persona
robot.
5. I played a little bit with
It's
a little
the
bit of it with
gamer.
John.
We
Thought it
live
was okay.
in a society with giant robots.
It's the gamer's final evolution. It's his final form.
Now I am the final boss.
Wow, did not expect that.
Wow.
How do I stop this gamer? He's too powerful.
1v1 me card, you fucking pipsqueak fuck.
No!
Call me
1v1 me, no scopes on Fortnite.
Fortnite's for pussies, you fuck.
Yeah, that's what that Joker does it. The gamer does it just to mess with Batman. He's like, I know, I know that
didn't we
Batman will
establish-
beat me if I have a fair fight on Rust. So I will only fight him on Fortnite.
Wait, but didn't we establish that the gamer hates people who play Fortnite and mobile games?
Yes, he's just
Well, we also established that he's constantly contradicting himself.
exactly.
Oh fuck it, that's right.
He's like, everything he says, he's like, he just is kind of a hypocrite about, and then will like contradict it shortly after, if it benefits him.
The socially inept Spider-Man says the gamer's final form is smelling nice and having a girlfriend that isn't just an e-girl that he has a parasocial relationship with.
No, see, that was him before he fell into the Gamer Girl bathwater.
So he was just like he was a Chad. He was a really cool
He was
guy.
like, yeah,
and
just
then
like a normal cool guy that everyone can get along with. But then the Batman threw him in a vat of Gamer Girl bathwater, and he was never the same since.
Now,
Okay, so
All it takes is one bad day.
all it takes is one vat of gamer girl bathwater, and we could all become
All it
better.
takes is one law in CS:GO.
Oh no! It's Pacific Rim 3 Society.
the greatest kaiju is man.
That's oh
Man, Superman
imagine
could just
that.
fly through the chest of that thing and then just like catch them like on his way through, and then just fly out the other side, holding them by the collars of their shirts, and then be like, "Oh, fuck, that was gonna be cool. Fuck you."
Doesn't the robot have kryptonite or some shit?
Yes, it does.
And that's why Superman can't just do that. Yeah.
So,
That's lame.
You just don't know art when you see it, you cynical fuck.
woo woo.
Batman vs Superman is a cinematic masterpiece. You just
Yeah,
have no taste
you just
in
need
film.
to. I'll bet that the gamer's favorite filmmaker is Zack Snyder. He also really
okay.
likes. He also hates that. He also hates anybody who likes those fucking Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Superman should just break the robot's neck. Worked on Zod. Oh my god.
Oh
Cool
no.
robot. No,
A
not
Gamer
gonna
Girl
stand a
bathwater
chance.
smoothie day keeps the incels away. Nice.
That's pretty cursed.
I love how that's caught on. Jesus.
Okay, so here's a question: if the Joker is the gamer, who is Lex
Yeah.
Luthor?
For every time I said that.
He's the gamer's, what he thinks is his best friend, but is actually just using him for his own evil ends. He's Elon Musk.
Oh no!
We're going with the annoying Silicon Valley thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we've all learned that it's kind of hilarious how far Elon Musk has fallen out of grace.
Todd Howard. You guys
Oh
were
my god,
asking
it's
who
Todd
Lex Luthor
Howard.
would be. Todd Howard. Lex Luthor is the "Are you winning, son" guy. Oh man, I don't know which is better, the "Are you winning, son" guy or Todd Howard. Both are
Like,
great.
which one is more embarrassing and makes me cry?
Sure, yeah.
Then probably Todd Howard. That makes me real sad.
Elon Musk is 1610, Lex Luthor. Wrong comic universe, man.
I think that was the joke.
Oh, okay. I knew that.
Charlatan, you hack fraud.
He's not even a member of Red Letter Media.
Anna says I want more Lego toys.
Honestly,
Well,
Legos were the good stuff.
She has a couple of
Man, I never
minifigures
had-
that I bought her, but not like a full set.
I have my
Wow.
parents. My parents, at Denver Comic Con a couple of years ago, they found they found a set of Donald Trump minifigures. So now my dad has a Donald Trump minifigure in his office downstairs. But I have, I think I bought Xavier like a Spider-Man minifigure at Comic Con.
No, you bought me a Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, and I have in my desk a Quicksilver, a X-Men Quicksilver, because I'm just a big fan of X-Men Quicksilver. Man, Evan Peters really needed his solo movie.
You got
What do you think of
fucking
MCU
robbed, and
Quicksilver?
so did we.
What did you think of MCU Quicksilver, David?
He
He's a
had
liar and a
promise.
cheat.
He was underutilized as a character. He had a lot of promise, but he was just...
Deserved everything that happened to him.
Oh, Jesus.
That's my
Man,
honest
I've
position,
never
is that
had
he had a lot of
MCU.
promise as a character, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't Lex Luthor just Tony Stark?
Well, yeah.
I was gonna say asshole Tony Stark, but I mean, Tony Stark kind of is that.
Apparently, my parents having a Donald Trump minifigures ironically makes socially inept Spider-Man sad.
Look, okay, let's probably best to avoid talks of Donald Trump right now.
Listen, I'm not talking about anything he said or anything he's done. Listen, we recognize we're not talking about that here on this stream. We're just talking about how he is, regardless of every terrible thing that he has done, a very intensely memeable person.
Intensely memeable.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's a quote for the history books.
He is.
What was the Donald Trump presidency like? Intensely memeable.
Yeah. Listen, I will not let Donald Trump being a horrible person, doing horrible things. I will not let that take away from all the fun I can have at his expense.
All the memes that we've accumulated over the years.
Memes are important social commentary.
The president was
I don't
the
disagree.
memes we made along the way.
Batman fan asks, what is your opinion on the Telltale Batman games? I really like
I like the first
I
one.
think-
I haven't played it. The second one.
I
yet.
got bored like a quarter of the way through the first one, and that's about it.
That's fair. They're pretty much all the same games. But
Yeah,
I'm just really big
I
on the
wa-
story.
I was also like kind of struggling along with it. I was very Telltale gamed out because like
I mean,
I
I'm just
used to
not
all
a big
the parlor tricks those games do.
I'm just
wasn't
not a big
impressed by
fan
it
of
anymore.
Telltale games. The gameplay of Telltale games is just not really my thing. I tried playing The Wolf Among Us, and it wasn't for me.
Really?
I think that's probably the best one, actually. And
yeah.
it's really unfortunate that, like, the one that didn't quite catch you was that one, because, like, that's, like, the best one, and I feel like they've been constantly struggling to match that level of quality ever since.
Yeah.
Socially Inept Spider-Man says, David, you see, as a communist, it makes me sad that workers in a factory had to make Lego Donald Trump figures. That's fair.
Oh my god.
I just got political all of a sudden. We're fucking playing Lego Batman.
And Bernardo says, maybe the real memes were inside of us all along. Really makes you think.
Real memes were up our butt.
You know, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, and we were like talking about a future in which like the way we communicate is through memes, and like at one point they're gonna like make meme historians. They would make meme historians to explain and identify like where the memes come from and what they mean and what they're supposed to mean and like how to use them in any context.
If you want to know,
at one point,
if you want to know how this works.
Point, the only way to talk to people, like, instead of typing, would just be sending memes.
Once again, Star Trek predicted this. If you want to see how that would work, there is a Star Trek episode called Darmok, where...
Of course there is.
I'm serious, because there's so Darmok is a Star Trek episode where there's this race called the Tamarians, who... The universal translator doesn't work on them. They're completely incomprehensible. The idea is that the idea is that they don't talk like we do. They always and then what you learn over the story is that their language is entirely composed of references to their mythology. So like
I thought you were gonna say references to pop culture. Well, it's like, what, it's a race of Deadpools?
It's kind of like that. So, like, the main captain, when he says, we need to come together and unite, he says, Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, which is, like, a myth of coming together and uniting. And, like, Temba, his...
Like that Justice League song.
Exactly! And it's a language entirely composed of those sort of comparisons. And if you ever want to see what the meme language future is going to be, you just need to watch Star Trek. Once again, Star Trek has predicted everything. We don't need any other franchise whatsoever. Especially not any...
Rick and Morty and The Simpsons.
Especially no franchise involving people who spin webs. We don't need them.
Oh!
Was that a jab at Australians, you think?
Yes. I was being racist against Australians right now. I wasn't talking about Spider-Man.
Okay. It's okay. I'm used to it by now.
He's okay he's okay with the... Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I will fucking kill you.
No, it doesn't bother me.
I'll fucking mutilate you so hard.
The gamer
die.
The gamer starts an OnlyFans page. With him and his girlfriend.
How many contradictions will he make?
All he posts are like, just...
No, it's a joint OnlyFans account with Harley Quinn.
They don't have sex together. He just kind of watches and cries.
No, he's the one who holds the camera.
Wait. She would be the one to hold the camera because he's a.
No. They take turns holding the camera when the other one's doing something.
That sounds too like supportive and like happy. Like the gamer needs to be sad and pathetic. He can't have like a healthy sexual relationship with his girlfriend.
No. Here's what it is that the hero, the Batman, is the one who doesn't have a healthy relationship. The gamer does, but we frame it as a bad thing because we're looking at it from Batman's point of view.
I was gonna say at one point, like all they do is just post each other's like feet pics.
Yes.
Oh my god, no!
I think that's all it is.
I don't like that.
Neither do I, but that's what
It
makes
makes
good.
me sad.
That's why
We
it's
live
good.
in a society.
Please, can society take a break for like 24 hours? Just stop being all society-ish.
The gamer has a problem against feet pics, and so all he does is post fucking feet pics on his OnlyFans.
No. Here's what it is that secretly he hates doing all the OnlyFans stuff, but it's the only thing he can do to pay the bills. So he hates himself the whole time.
It's depressing.
That is.
Makes me sad. I don't like that.
Pretty sure that was the intent.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh. Well, damn.
It's a very
Fucked
like.
up.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to make me not want to kill myself?
I remember when we watched that. Good shit. My favorite part of that was the Australian. The Australian
yeah.
family.
Who's the Australian? So we should make a you know what, there's Joker the gamer. The Australian
The
is
Australian.
yeah, he's Captain Boomerang.
Oh my god.
He's just
And
the
it's supposed to be
Australian.
like my self-insert.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be like my self-insert character, like kind of what Kong was to Bendis in Ultimate
Oh,
Spider-Man.
Candy Kong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a character that looks like me and talks like me and also dates my favorite character.
But it's
But no,
not
it's
me.
not me.
I swear.
That shit was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was. They even had him in like Spectacular Spider-Man, but for some
Well,
reason
they
he was
made
so
him
much
like a
better.
totally different character in that because I think
Yeah.
they kind of knew.
They're like, oh yeah, Bendis is just like, do shit again. Let's yeah, just use the name, the looks, but make him different.
The
And the writers were like,
Bendis.
okay. The Bendis, the Venus.
The Venus, the Beepus.
Bibbity boobity. Bippity boppity.
Beepus.
Your games are my property.
Beepity boopity. Todd Howard speaking.
Bippity boppity, your money's my property.
Basically.
Always with the fucking Todd Howard. Is there nothing?
Todd?
Todd?
Have you ever seen
Todd.
The Devil?
What was that?
Has anybody actually... Listen, I'm curious. Have either of you actually played Fallout 76?
No, I haven't. I don't want to, given the its
Too smart for
reputation.
that.
I'm just saying, like, it's so weird because I think it's kind of amazing how Fallout 76 has become this sort of like... It's amazing to me that there's a game that was so poorly conceived by its developers that literally everybody saw it coming as a bad idea.
It's because there was a lot of like internal politics at the in the studio. Initially, they were going for like a completely different game, but like the executives and shit were just like, "Yeah, no, like I get what you're trying to say, but fuck you. Let's make like basically what we ended up getting." All the developers were like, "Why? Why would you brought this on yourself?"
To be fair, I can't think there's probably many more thankless jobs than being a Bethesda game developer. Oh, I know one.
I feel sorry for them. 'Cause, like,
I know
there's a
one
lot of
job
passion
that's
put into
Being
it.
a
probably-
visual effects artist in Hollywood.
Or I know one that's worse. The quality assurance department at Bethesda Game Studios.
Oh god.
Like the people who
Yeah.
test the software for the bugs. That's got to be a pretty stressful job. Because
I
you
remember when I
know,
was
I like the idea of like you just have to write down the list of bugs and then like the guy just gets so tired that he just writes everything and then it just passes out with his face slammed into his keyboard.
to be fair, that is a little bit personal of me because that's what my dad used to do, except for like a different software company. So like I know that that's an important job, and I've heard from him about certain companies that he worked for that will remain nameless on this stream. That, let's just say that they've been in the news for not exactly being the most quality control.
Wait, was it a game company?
No, no, no.
Or just like some kind of tech company?
It wasn't a tech company, actually.
Oh, tech company, okay.
It wasn't.
Ooh.
It was
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I've heard from him that certain companies are just pretty crappy.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like that culture of just not caring about quality and just being like, we need to get the product in on time, and we need to, so we can keep the money rolling in, and like, we realize that the engineers have said that the things we're doing will cause problems, but we don't care.
Yeah, it do be like that. Man, just imagine, like, you're writing all of these, like, QC reports and, like, all of these bugs and everything, but there's, like, there's so much, and you're already, like, stressed out as it is.
Yeah.
So all you do, you just write one word everything, and there's, like, 2 teardrops on the page. So now when the programmer goes to fix it, that's all he sees.
Socially inept Spider-Man says, bippity boppity, us communists are taking away your private property.
Oh man. Batman fan says, "What do you guys think about the Young Justice animated series?" We actually answered this in a previous stream. I can't remember if it was the one on. I think I answered this on
one too recent.
Like, I think I also answered this question again on the stream with Josh the other day. People ask me this one a lot.
I don't know. I kept going back and forth between your stream and Brandon's. Because you guys are streaming at the same time.
Yeah, which was also a dick move on my part. I forgot that he was streaming that day, and it was a big accident, and I feel bad.
Also, I'm just gonna subtweet Brandon here by saying, we have a group chat, and the only thing that he seems to be doing lately on it is letting us know when he's streaming.
Yeah, he has. Well, I mean, even since we created that group chat, he just never really talked on there about anything.
Yeah.
He shows up to advertise his shit and then leaves.
Yeah.
We need to threaten that man to be friends with us. It's like, hey, talk to us and be our friend, or else we'll fucking...
Well, or else we'll bitch about you on a live stream that he's not even watching. Listen, we are the true alphas here.
But anyway, to answer that question, I like Young Justice. I just kind of got disinterested after the time skip because I was really invested in what was going on in the story. And then jumping ahead 5 years so that a lot of those plot threads get resolved off screen.
Yeah, I think you talked about this before on this stream. I remember you saying those words.
It was really unsatisfying, and I was like, well, I kind of wanted to see all that stuff, so just having it be explained through expositional dialogue is just like, shut the fuck up. You don't know how to talk out of your Australian.
Okay, so speaking of...
Say the word deck.
Deck. Those are New Zealanders who say dick, you fuck.
So I wanted to ask you another question.
Read Venom 25, don't spoil it.
I wanted to ask you another question, which is... We're playing Lego Batman, right? What's your opinion on Lego Batman the movie?
I liked it.
I had mixed feelings.
I saw the movie before playing the game, and I'm looking at the game right now, and I'm so surprised. Like, it just clicked that the movie was based on the game, or vice versa. I hadn't realized that before. I thought it was like its own thing.
No, it is its own thing. They're completely different. The Lego Batman movie was a spin-off based on the Batman they had in the Lego movie, which is a very different Batman from this.
Wait, are you talking about the one that's based on this game, or like the actual movie itself?
I'm asking about the actual movie.
Oh, I really like that. It was fun. It was funny. It had a lot of good themes. You know, I enjoyed it.
I will say I loved the Robin in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Robin was.
Michael Cera Robin was iconic.
The kids at the orphanage call me Dick.
Yeah, children can be cool.
Flashback to when
Now we're free. Now we're moving. Come on, Batman. Let's get grooving.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks, Dick. I appreciate it.
I really hated. I just say that I really like having that version of Goofy Batman because it's sincere, and I really like sincere Goofy Batman, like the '60s show. I have a big.
He's a caricature, but like in all the best ways.
I have a problem with So they made a series of animated before Adam West sadly passed on. They made a series like an animated continuation of the Batman '60s stuff, and it wasn't that good actually because it was trying to be too self-aware. So there were moments like Aunt Harriet was constantly making jokes about how Bruce and Dick are together, and I was like, no, come on, that's not right.
That kind of fucks with like the purity of it.
Yeah. And like there's a bit in front of the
Don't make jokes about Batman fucking his adopted son.
Do that in like the Harley Quinn show or some shit. But like
there you can make whatever fucking jokes you want.
Here's the thing:
something as sincere as that.
Sex does not exist in the Batman 1960s universe. It's too pure for that.
Especially not weird incest stuff.
Have you guys seen that one clip where it was old, but like there was this girl that's like she was apparently going for like a movie interview or some shit, and she, like one of the guys asked her to like reenact a scene from her favorite like movie, and she's like, okay, I can do that. She gets in a pose, she turns around like looking all shocked, and she, what are you doing, step bro?
The God.
Oh no, that is.
We actually saw this video. It was a. There was. Like it's just this dude. Like his arm. Whoa, dude, I'm stuck. And he's got like a smile on his face, and he seems to not be too worried about it. And then you hear in the distance, "Hey, step bro, I'm home." And then he goes, "No, no."
What? See, the difference between that is that, okay, actually no, it was not such it was a parody. I was gonna say the difference between that and the thing that I said was that my one was a parody. But
it was the same. It was a parody of the same kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it just clicked.
And then the video just cuts off because it just you don't see how he gets that.
Have any of you guys seen? So, question: have you guys seen James Gunn's PG porn?
Oh yeah.
You mean
it's been ages since I watched that.
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about how iconic that is.
Wait, what are you talking about? I was making a joke that it was Scooby-Doo on that.
It's so James Gunn, you know, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, made a web series with his brother called James Gunn's PG Porn, and the whole idea of it was that it's all about the porn, just without the sex. Everything you love about the porn without the sex. So it's just like the bad dialogue and the cheesy setup. So it's like one episode is like the helpful bus, where you like drive people around to where they need to go.
Oh my God.
Like another episode where like a girl shows up to like get from the mechanic competition for that, and he's like, "Oh, you got some of these cats in the back? Sure, I'll take one of your kittens."
Oh my God.
And then she's constantly like, "Would you like to have this? I'm sure you could use a big tool to fix it, like your penis." No. Why would I use my penis to fix your car?
Just jam some coconut. You'll be amazed at how many thongs you get fucked by jamming coconut. To preface this, I'm referencing a video about a commercial set in New Zealand. I'm not actually talking about the you know, the junk.
Of course you are.
In case
You are
anyone
talking
is-
about the junk.
No.
Yes, you are.
No.
Tamim Rahman says, James Gunn is weirder than I thought. Boy, just wait until you see Super.
Oh man, Super's a
Okay, but he made Guardians of the Galaxy, and so that's fine. I forget.
I was just thinking of the bit from Red Letter Media where what's his name? Jay says, I wonder if Disney, when deciding to film their family-friendly blockbuster, said, let's get the guy who made the movie where Ellen Page rapes Rainn Wilson.
Rapes Rainn Wilson in a superhero costume.
Wait, what?
That happens in Super.
It's a dark movie.
Shut up, crime.
Oh my god, dude. I don't recognize this well.
That was such a sad reaction.
It's kind of funny how the original Batman was only invented to prove that Bruce Wayne was straight. But modern day Batman is now one of the most well-known lesbian characters in comics. Yeah, it's really weird how, like...
Well, Batgirl.
No, Batwoman. Like, I think her first appearance was on Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. It was like an animated series based on the Batman, the animated series. It was an animated movie. Have you never seen that? Hello?
No, I have not seen that.
Oh no, did they cut out?
Xavier must have cut
Hello?
out.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I can't hear him. Hello?
Xavier abandoned us.
Hello?
Ah.
Oh, wait, I can... David, you there?
I can hear you. Xavier says
Okay, I can
Discord's
hear you.
breaking.
Oh, that fuck.
He messaged me and said Discord's breaking, so our guest will be back in a minute, but otherwise, we're just gonna be a Scrubs and Me stream for now.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, I'm pretty sure the first appearance of like any character under the name of Batwoman was from the animated movie Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, which was based on like it's set in the animated like Batman the animated series universe. And the whole concept of that was that like it was three different characters, you know, playing the role of Batwoman basically. Like the logo, like okay, when the Batwoman comic came out, like the one that we have today, I find it really interesting how like there's a lot of similarities in the costumes, even the name. Someone left. That was Xavier. Okay.
Ah!
Hello.
Oh, Discord lagged out. Sorry.
Hey, it's
You're
fine.
not sorry. Not really.
I'm not sorry. I did it on purpose.
What happened though? Did your internet cut out?
No, I just Discord lagged. It does that sometimes.
It doesn't do it to me.
Yeah.
That's alright.
This is discrimination against non-Australians.
Fucking racist.
So Bernardo says she was only made up to prove Bruce Wayne is straight because at the time a lot of people shipped him and Robin.
Oh, was that why?
Yeah. I mean, the jokes about Batman and Robin being gay for each other are as old as the comics.
Which is like weird because like Robin's like a kid. Like I could see it with the Burt Ward thing because he was like a fucking grown adult and he just seemed kind of like Batman's like twink boyfriend. You know,
he was supposedly. I mean, they hired a guy who's clearly in his 20s to play like a teenager.
Yeah, they did that again, but like in the comics, like Robin was like 10. So I don't know. I don't appreciate that implication.
Yeah, and Bernardo says he's talking about Golden Age Batwoman, so it's probably an older character.
Oh,
because
the
I was
old
talking
ass
about.
Batwoman.
Yeah, I was talking about the one from the animated series. Oh, sorry, the animated movie based on the animated series. Because like her costume design looks so much like Batman Beyond, and her like current comic book design is basically Batgirl fused with Batwoman.
The one from the TAS or the DC animated universe. That one is actually like a completely different character from the comic Batwoman, and the one that has the CW show. There's a lot of Batwomen and Batgirls.
For the longest time, I thought
nothing
she
but
was
respect.
The first incarnation of
Listen,
the character.
nothing but respect for the original Batgirl from the '60s cartoon, from the '60s TV show. That's the best one.
I like how there's a history of like comic characters getting introduced through TV shows and then like becoming canon to the comics later.
I think it's kind of hilarious how Barbara Gordon got her start in a cheesy 1960s TV show, and in the 90s they paralyze her in this really dark comic. It's like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck?
Oh.
Because in the
I remember you told me about that.
Because in the in the 1960s show, she was like really lighthearted, very cartoony, and she had like radioactive spark plugs on her motorcycle to like so that Batman could track her. It's really goofy shit, and then they just make it like this really dark thing. I just love that.
I heard radioactive and SP, like the sound SP, and what is he saying?
Spark plugs in her motorcycle.
I'm like, oh no. Like, as soon as you said split, I'm like, oh shit. Oh no, where is he going? It was like a split-second reaction.
Oh no.
They also made Burt Ward... Batman fan says they also made Burt Ward shrink his package for the TV series. What? How?
I wouldn't be surprised.
In what way? Like, did he have to just like kind of tape it down to fit into the costume, or like what?
They made him do what drag queens do. They made him tuck.
Oh jeez.
He took a pill and his pee-pee became tiny.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It does.
I mean, I get it, because like for 60s television, that might have been a little bit too risque. It's weird, but I get it.
Yeah. Having a big Robin penis flinging around.
Yeah.
Only Batman can have the big Robin penis flinging around.
What the
Listen,
fuck?
save that for the Batcave. Also, one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things in one of my favorite things in the 1960s show is that they have these like, specifically like the bit where they like, you know how they change in the bat poles. They had to make sure they put this sign up where it says automatic instant bat change closer device so that that you know that they automatically changed clothes and they didn't see each other's you-know-whats. It's beautiful.
Hot off the trail of the 50s, where in TV shows like I Love Lucy, they couldn't have the husband and wife shown sleeping in the same bed, so in the bedroom set they both have two like separate ones that are like 4 or 5 feet apart with a table in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude,
there was some weird censorship stuff back then.
I was watching this movie called Pleasantville, like Tobey Maguire, and it basically is that. Like it's weird to explain. Like it's better if you just watch it. You'll see what I mean. But like it's got a lot of these things, just you know, sprinkled. The whole movie is basically about like Tobey Maguire and his sister, like. You know, their characters, not like his actual sister.
Yeah. You know that the director of that movie directed Hunger Games?
He grew up in like 40s or whatever, and they basically have to like live in there and shit. It's a weird premise, but it's a good movie. I really recommend it if you guys haven't seen it.
I remember someone was talking about how they did this really cool like thing with in that movie where like certain objects would be in color but others would be in black and white, and that was like a really impressive vision.
For sure, dude. I was gonna tweet about that the other day, like when I saw it, but I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I forgot, but it was really like mind blowing because like, despite a lot of these people having a very similar skin color, like just being white, it like they basically like they know how to isolate.
So Batman fan says they made him take pills.
That's fucked up.
No.
That's terrible.
I was joking when I said that. Jesus.
That's not okay. If that's really what happened.
I don't know if that's what
as
really
I was
happened.
saying,
No
in the
acting
show,
role is worth that. Terrible.
There are some things that like have a similar or same color, but like when they isolate a color, it doesn't apply to all of them. It's only like for some things. If that makes any sense, it's really hard to explain. It's better if you just watch it.
You sound like a Raven.
But it's a really cool
trying to explain this.
I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, to be fair, he is a raving lunatic.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. There you go.
So like, you know, not a big surprise.
My name's John Raving, and I'm a raving lunatic.
My name is John Raving Lunatic. I'm a lunatic and I am raving. Raving is my middle name. Oh wait, it's my last name.
So he's just like he's just got like a pacifier in his mouth and he's dancing with glow stick.
Ooh.
Just house music in the background. Have you guys seen the movie Good Will Hunting?
Stop now. Movie? What movie?
Good Will Hunting?
No.
No.
You guys, what the fuck? You haven't seen
I
that?
know.
You
Someday.
haven't seen that?
Hey, shush. Don't bully.
Dude, we
Don't
need
bully
to watch it. We need to watch it.
Okay. Stop.
It's like-
Stop hitting me.
It's one of my favorite movies. It's like one of the very few movies that I would watch over and over and over again, back to back. That and the movie Dope. Because holy shit, those I loved them so much.
Did you know that the guy who directed that was almost going to direct the Flash movie, but then he dropped out?
What, Dope?
You
Or-
could say that
Yeah.
about like 15 directors.
He was the first.
Wait, which one did? Dope or Good Will Hunting?
Dope.
Dope.
Oh,
He was gonna
I didn't know
direct
that. That
the
would have been
Flash.
really cool. Because I really like Dope. He's a good director.
No, you.
Thank you.
Ah, he's got you there.
I mean, he complimented me.
He's got you there.
He complimented me. That looks like fucking Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Peter? Peter? Hey, Peter! Peter!
Hey, Lois.
Hey, Lois. Hey, Lois. I'm a Hollywood director now, Lois.
Hey, Lois. Milk just joined in and said, I want to jump in front of a train.
I'm so sorry.
Hello to you too, I guess.
Hello, Milk.
God.
Welcome to our humble little stream. It's not as many people as usually drop in on the streams on Xavier's channel, but I like to think that the audience on here is a little bit cooler people.
You
Not as
lord.
angry.
Man, sometimes you gotta throw shit behind your back and just be like, whatever.
Whatever. Like that scene in
Whatever.
Spider-Man 3, the game.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was referencing, thank you.
Yay, I knew what it was.
You just gotta put your feet up on the desk at J. Jonah Jameson's office. Put your hands behind your head. And when he asks you to get off, you tell him you didn't say please. Oh, sorry. It's like, what's the magic word? And then you go, he goes, now. And then you go, whatever. And then you punch a bunch of golf.
I'm surprised
girls
you remember that scene
So,
like this well.
Dude, that game is so bad.
So
I remember
which-
so many things about
so
it. How cringe it was.
So here's a question: which open world Gotham City is better, this one or the Arkham City?
Arkham City.
I mean, this one, they're very different aesthetics. Like, the Arkham one... Well, oh wait, are we talking about only Arkham City? And,
We're talking about the Arkham games.
Okay, in the Arkham games in general, the city is meant to feel very modernized and believable. Like, they try to maintain enough of the, like, gothic aesthetic while also making sure it could feel like a real city that could exist. While as this one, ham on, like...
This is much more of
like the fucking... the 90s.
The Tim Burton aesthetic.
So it's just like, yeah, it's got these giant, like, whole preposterous statues kind of lingering around in the city. All these, like, all these buildings that just look like old-timey castles, like, from, like Transylvania. It's, I don't know. They're really hard to compare.
You know, it's funny.
And then, like,
it's funny.
The animated
Milk
series one is all noir.
It's funny. Milk in the comments says that this one looks more realistic to him.
Or her.
Or them.
We have no idea.
Arkham Asylum has the
Could
best
be a Spider-Man
atmosphere.
or a Spider-Woman. We don't know. We don't know. I'm referencing just so many shitty Spider-Man, like, anything now.
What the fuck?
I didn't even remember that was a reference.
Yeah, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, like, him and Peter and Harry were talking.
This just in, local billionaire Bruce Wayne found sleeping nude in an oxygen tent, which he believes will give him sexual power.
He believes it'll enlarge his penis, but all it's doing right now, evidently, is shrinking it down.
Oh look, it's a Donald Trump rally.
Billionaire will be very disappointed.
Look, Lex Luthor is having a presidential rally, so you know what that means. Trump jokes.
Can we not?
Man, remember when Lex Luthor becomes like a whole storyline for like a year?
Remember when Norman Osborn became president around the same time?
He didn't become president, he just became like director of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically.
Same difference.
Make sure they've all had enough, then we move on to the next campaign stop.
Those stories were kind of like, whichever one came first, the other one I feel like was a...
Yeah. I mean, Norman Osborn and Lex Luthor are more or less the same characters. Because of how they use them.
It's really interesting how, like, Norman Osborn is like, what if Lex Luthor could turn into the Joker?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he just kind of switches back and forth, and, like, that's really cool, because that's two interesting villains for, like, the price of one. Because, like,
yeah.
Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, like, the way they talk and act and do things is so wildly different. Well, yeah, but, like, those those two personalities are so each other, but both are so fucking sinister and evil. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I've been noticing that a lot in just DC and Marvel shit. Like, whatever one creates, the other creates something similar to, like, counter it. Like, Deathstroke and Deadpool. Those, like, they're not one tries to create. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they copied.
Deadpool was like a direct parody of Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Like, he was made as a joke, and then it just accidentally caught on.
Then you have, the Vision and Red Sonja,
there's a whole list of, like, characters that are really, really similar. I mean, like, there's this character that named Stripe.
Well, there's also a whole history
up with Stargirl.
Of Hollywood movies that, like, are copies of each other that come out in the same year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like remember when there was the friends with the two Friends with Benefits movies starring Justin Timberlake and one starred Ashton Kutcher, right?
Yeah, and then one was Natalie Portman, and then the
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, yeah. Or like
Jeffrey Katz